G'day, Fidemaster John Curtis from Sydney, Australia. Just going to show you two games tonight, this evening. I played two games against a Fidemaster. His name is politeplayer 2314, and he is from Denmark, right? No, it wasn't Magnus Carlsen. It was politeplayer. And politeplayer is actually, we look at him, it's Jesper Lauridsen. That's the name on the chess.com profile for him. And he is a title player, a Fidemaster. And I was happy to play him two games this evening. So without further ado, let's get into these two games and see what we can see. Right. Okay, so he played knight to f3. The opening is going to be the King's Indian defence, the normal variation. I played knight to f6. Okay, and he played d4. So I'm playing black. I think I played him black in both games. So I was black in both games. So I played him. I played g6, book move, and he played c4. You know, obviously wants to get his knight out behind his pawn, the usual stuff. He knows what he's doing. He's over 2300 rating. So I played bishop g7, knight c3, book move, castles, and all this is very, very standard. I played e4. So he's not shy, this fella. He will attack you, and if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. So I played d6. And just the normal variation, the King's Indian. Then he played king there. Now, I don't know whether that was a mouse slip. I have a feeling it was a mouse slip, but he might have been just being cheeky. I don't know. But I got a gut feeling maybe it was a mouse slip and he meant to play bishop e2. But you never know. You never know, because sometimes these chess players just get cheeky and they've got no respect for you. And they just want to show you that they can do anything. And I have done that. I played bishop to g4. The idea is that I want to build him up on the white squares, right? He takes. And the whole idea is I wanted to attack on the black squares. So I played knight there and star move, best move. The position's dead equal according to the engine. So he played g4, but I think that's a mistake. I thought maybe he could have played g3 like the engine says, and the position would be equal. But the computer's saying I've got a good game. So I played knight to c6. I'm aiming for d4, and he pushed the pawn, and apparently that's the best move. And I thought, oh my God, you know, like, this guy knows what he's doing. So I gave him a check. That's the best move, and he made the king move back. So I played c5. I should apparently play e5 according to the engine, but nonetheless I did play c5. And the difference in the two moves is only very, very slight. So it's not a bad move. It's still a good move. He played bishop e3. Apparently he should play f4. Excuse me, straight away. And then I played e6, because what I'm looking at is I'm thinking, well, his king is slightly precarious, and I'd like to play the f5 move. This is a lovely voice she's got, the music in the background. Anyway, so he played queen to d2, and I thought, well, it's now or never. I've got to do something here. So I took the pawn off, and I thought he took with the pawn, and that's taking. Yes, it's taking with the knight that I was concerned about. When he didn't take with the knight, I thought, well, it's now or never. I've got to do something. If I sit here, I'll get positionally crushed. So I played f5 to open up the game, right? Bring my heavy artillery into the game. And this is star move, best move again. He played pawn there. Our engine says that in this position, he should play pawn here, right? And position's probably, I don't know, I do like white's game, but it's probably equal. Engine says it's equal, right? But he played this move, and then I played there. I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. You know what the engine says? The engine says that this move is the correct move. Oh, chess is a tough game, isn't it, eh? Eh? Chess is a tough game. It's really testing. Yeah. The whole idea is, if he takes with the king, you can play pawn here, and his bishop's trapped, right? And if he takes with the pawn, well, you can just throw the whole kitchen sink at him, right? Black's winning, right? Okay. So, naturally, I missed this move. I missed it. That's the star move. I missed that one. But I came up with something else which is a bit similar. I actually played this move. Pawn there. And the engine says I'm winning after pawn there. Right? I thought I'll sacrifice the pawn. So he took with the pawn. That's a star move. But now I'm supposed to be winning. So I thought, well, how do I win this? Right? So I played knight there. Apparently, this knight here move again is the winner. With the same theme as before. Anyway, but I played knight there. And now let's see what he does, right? Apparently Black's still winning. So even though I didn't play the best move, I still played a winning move, right? Anyway, he played knight there. And it's then that I saw this move. Knight there. Star move. I finally got the knight in on f3 under my terms. And the whole idea is I'm trying to punish him for his error in the opening. And so he played queen to e3. So I gave him a check, right? Okay. Now he can't come forwards. If he comes forwards, I can check him and win his queen. So he hasn't got many squares. So he went there. That's apparently the best move. So I gave him a check. Apparently I should take the bishop. The engine says I take the bishop and then just pin his queen to his king, right? I'll show you that. Yeah, rook takes bishop. And now I'm just threatening bishop here. Discovered check. There's nothing he can do. I mean, really, it's a mess. Okay, Black's just all over him. Okay, like a rash. Anyway, but what I did was all right. I gave him a check because I couldn't see where his king goes. Okay, because all the squares are covered, right? The knight's covering that square. Okay, and this knight's covering that square. So I could see that he only had one move, and he played that, of course, king up. Then I took the bishop. And now, as you can see on the bar on the side of the board, I'm winning. So he took with the queen, and I just pinned his queen. So he gave me a knight check, and he thought, oh, well, maybe I can save the queen if he takes the knight. But I didn't. I just moved in the corner, right? Okay, I'm threatening a very beautiful move now. I'm actually threatening queen takes knight, right? I'll show you what I mean, right? He played queen takes pawn, right? But see how the engine now. Well, I'll show you what could have taken place. Engine saying play rook over there, right? Okay. But I'll show you this just this quick variation. If he did play rook over here, I can play queen takes knight, I think, and then if pawn takes, isn't that checkmate? I think that's checkmate. That's a checkmate, isn't it? Is it a checkmate? Where can he go? His queen's pinned, and there's nowhere to go. So that's a checkmate, right? Okay, so which would be very pretty, right? However, the game did continue. Oh, oops, the game didn't continue that way. No, he played knight checks, and I went in the corner. And then he played queen takes bishop. I played pawn takes. He played knight there, and I played queen to f8. And he played bishop to e2. He thought he'd get his pieces working, but I checkmated him on g3. So that was the end of polite player in game one. So we go to game two, game 2 in the archives. There we go, game 2, and here we go again. So another 5-minute game, right? Another 5-minute game, and we'll go to the analysis room on this one for you. And they're instructive games because it shows you how to take advantage of a player's sort of... This is a tough game. This is a really hard game by two Fidemasters battling it out. And he was really pushing me to the nth degree here. I had to really fight. So I played knight to f3, and I'm white. I think he wanted revenge for that last game. Anyway, G6 I played. And I played c3. I just thought, oh, I'll just play d4 and capture the centre. And he did, pawn takes. And then he thought, well, d5. That's a book move. I took the pawn off. I thought, oh, maybe I can sort of trick him with a few little... I shouldn't really play like this, but I thought, well, I was happy with the position. He played knight there, book move, best move. He's preparing to castle. I can't castle, so I gave him a check. I thought I'd give him a check. Why not give him a check? So he put his knight in, and it's a star move. It's the best move. And I thought, you little devil, because he's going to play a6 and b5 and just pick up that d pawn. At the end of the day, you can't hold that isolated d pawn. He knows that. So I thought, well, I'll just get my pieces out and try to hustle him a little bit. And he castled. He played the best move. He thinks, oh, well, why shouldn't I just castle, right? And recapture the pawn and then battle against the isolated pawn. I will have the isolated pawn then. So I thought, well, okay. So I took his knight instead. Now, the whole idea of that is if he plays just simply knight here, I can't stop knight takes pawn, and then I've got that isolated pawn. So I thought to myself, well, because it's a Blitz game, I thought, well, if I take the knight straight away, if he takes with the queen, he blocks his bishop. And if he takes with the bishop, well, he can't attack that pawn straight away, can he? So I played knight then, hit his bishop, okay? Now, the engine said it's a good move. It says castles was best. Okay? Now, he played b5. Engine says that's a good move. It said bishop f5 was best. So I played queen b3. Now, had he played bishop to f5, I still would have played queen to b3. But this way, the way he's played it, is he's threatening to roll these pawns down on my queen and cause a huge distraction in the centre. And he achieves that too with a5. Good move. So I took the bishop because I thought, what else do I do? Engine says I should play a3, all right? So I thought I'd just take the bishop. I'll just go for the end game. And I didn't get the best of it. But he played queen there, and I thought, oh, okay, right then. Well, I'll just castle. So I thought, well, I'm happy. I'll give him the pawn, and I've got a pawn, but I've got a lot of activity. So he took the pawn, and now I've got the activity. Do I play bishop to e3, or do I play rook to d1? Well, I chose rook to d1. And that's a star move. It's the best move. He played queen to h5. Well, apparently the engine says he should play queen here. Right? That's a very interesting move. I think that's just an equal position after that. I don't think black could have an advantage, but it's certainly a good move, right? But he played queen there, and I played h3. I should play queen e2, and by playing queen e2, I sort of get my queen back, near my king, and threaten his e-pawn, see? But let's see what he does. He pushed the pawn on. Well, I pushed there. Apparently, I should play rook to b1. That's a real engine move. It's a hard move to see in a 5-minute Blitz game, I tell you. It really is. Anyway, so he played rook to c8. Look on the A file to c8. And I thought, well, there's a pawn there. I'll take that. And now the engine says I'm winning. Right, you can see the bar on the side of the board. It's all white. So I played queen to b3. Best move. And then he played rook to g5, and I thought, gee, that's an interesting move. I thought of taking the rook, but I didn't. Oh, the engine says I should take it. Well, there you go. I played king f1, threatening to take it, but because he's threatening queen takes pawn, right? Okay, he's threatening queen takes pawn with a mating attack. If I take with the pawn, how do I stop the checkmate? Engine says I can, but I don't know that I can. Oh, the engine's got a lot more confidence in this position than I have. So I wonder what the correct defence is. Okay, so say pawn takes rook, knight takes pawn, is it? Okay. And now it says white's just winning. But do you play bishop to f4? That's a draw, isn't it? I think you play bishop to e3, is it? Is that the move? See what the engine says. Oh, it's a mistake. Knight to e4 is the best move. There you go. So I'd have to find, after knight takes pawn, I'd have to find this move. Knight to e4. My, this would be a real worry after queen checks. Oh, yeah, I see. Queen checks, king there, checks, takes pawn. Oh, it'd be a very, very fine sort of defence. Very, very hard to hold this sort of position. But it says, engine clearly says white's winning after that move. I'll show you what I did play. So he played rook there, and I played king to f1. It says it's a mistake, but it still gives me lots of ticks for playing it. It says I'm still winning after that move. So he played knight there. And here I wasn't sure about what to do. I like pawn takes rook. Probably should play pawn takes rook. I should have played pawn takes rook. Oh, no, he's got checkmate. So I have to take the knight, right? Then rook takes. Now, that's right. So I played the right move. I saw the mate at the time, and he recaptured as the rook. He's got a lot of activity, but I've got 5, 6, 7 pawns, and he's got 4. So he's got a problem. So I played bishop e3. That sort of protects my king. Now he's played bishop there. Well, I thought to myself, I've got to open this position up. So I gave him a check. Okay. And he went there, and then I took the pawn off. Well, apparently I shouldn't. I should have pushed it, but it was a blitz game. And as you can see with the clock, I only have 1 minute and 31 seconds left to play the game, right? So I played pawn takes pawn because I wanted to put him under pressure, make him think, right? And then he played queen takes. And then the reason why I took the pawn was because I saw this follow-up move of rook here. And it's a star move. It's the best move. And now I've got that bishop c5 threat. Well, he pushed the pawn. He didn't see the threat. The threat was just simply bishop there. Okay? Now watch how he fights, even after he's lost. Bishop takes rook. He took the bishop back. Remember, he's still got 3 pieces. So you're still going to be careful. You might have a 1 game, but you still have to win it. So I played rook there. Star move, best move. Okay, so that just threatens to double the rooks on the 8th rank. So he played pawn there. And you know what? I should probably double the rooks on the 8th rank. That would really test him. Oh, queen takes. Oh, well, that's apparently the best move. Star move. I played that. And that's the best move. He played rook there. And then what did I do? Well, I went over here and pinned his queen against his... I could have played queen to e3, but I thought, no, he can't stop the pin against his king. I'm threatening rook takes bishop check. Anyway, he took a pawn with check, and I was moved over to the side. Well, now he's got no play. I've got his rook pinned. So he played king to g7. Apparently he should take the queen, but the position's lost anyway, right? Anyway, in that position, I gave him a dirty big check, and he played king to h6. He's still fighting guys. So I gave him a check there, and then he played pawn, and I took his rook. And it was then that he capitulated. And as far as that match is concerned, we played just 2 games, and I won both. So, I won one with white. I won the first one with black pieces, and the second one was white. So it was a fair distribution of colours. And if you like those 2 games that I played against Fidemaster Politeplayer, rated 2,305 points, they are from, as I said, he was from Denmark. If you like those 2 games and you want to subscribe, it's free to subscribe on YouTube. And please click the thumbs up button on the video, and you'll get more notification of new videos as they're coming through. I'll be doing them as regularly as I can, right? And I'll say goodbye now. God bless all your families in these difficult times. You take care now, and don't forget, we love you.